Hey y'all, it's me, Tuesday and Robin,
Hi.
and welcome to another episode of Drink N Overthink with us. If you are new here, we are doing original versus remakes this season. So today we're going to be doing Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and we also like to do the TCM Wine Club, and we try different wines. So yeah, if you like our content, feel free to subscribe and stick around. So let's get into the video. We're going to start with the wine review as usual. Today we have something called Seacat Bay. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Could be Seacat.
Seacat. I just call it octopus wine. That's what I've been calling it since we got it. The octopus wine. It's a white wine. It's from 2002. The origin of Western Cape is 13.3%, 33. Product of South Africa. That's dope. It has like an apple with a touch of honeysuckle sweetness. So we gonna see about that. Luckily, I don't have to do the not a screwdriver. What's it called?
The cork.
Wine opener. But I can't open this either. What the hell? I have no arm strength. Oh, it's too slippery.
Yeah, it came.
Cause I left it out too.
There you go, darling.
You ain't got embarrassed me like that. What? You could have took longer to open it. Like, oh yeah, it is a struggle. That's what you're supposed to do. You just like weakling much?
Thank you.
What are your first impressions on this wine?
Wow, I like the smell.
It smells like a Chardonnay, right?
It does, but it
Even though
smells
it-
like a little sweeter.
It doesn't, because I'm so used to like Moscato, Chardonnay, Riesling, and this says Chenin Blanc. I don't even know what that means.
I just know blanc means white.
It means white,
so,
right?
Well,
Smells, I think because now I read the bottle, I'm thinking apple, but I wish I would have not read it first.
it has a Christmas to it. Crispness.
A Christmas?
I
Has
know,
a Christmas
sorry.
to it?
Crisped.
Crispiness. It's a crispiness. Ma'am.
Sorry, guys.
It's cool.
I don't hate it.
It's cool.
I like it.
I haven't hated any of these wines so far.
Actually, no.
Yeah, it's cool. Y'all should get it. Okay, so Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I'm gonna do this one different. Instead of saying the entire plots of the movie because it's literally killing me, it's taking way too long and getting all of the footage and stuff and getting copyrighted. It's a whole ball game I'm not used to out here in these YouTube streets. So we just want to jump straight into our reviews of the movie because we pretty much are explaining it as we're going along anyway. So I'm kind of doing twice the work for no reason. So we're going to start with best storyline. You have the black and white original in 1956. You have the 78 remake. You said it was an 80.
It was one in the 80s.
It was one in the 80s, but we didn't count her. But shout out to you. And then we just hopped over to the 2007. It's just called The Invasion because they too bougie to have the same name, I guess.
I think they want to make it more modern, maybe.
I guess, with Nicole Kidman. So basically, in terms of storyline, like what was your favorite one? And we're looking this way because I have a board written with like all of this. So if we're looking over here, it's because we looking at the word. With her being a single mom and
she was a single mom. She was the lead. The other ones, they were men. She did get it through. Yeah. They did put an element that some people were immune.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like that.
Well, that's what I was bringing up as we were watching the first one and the second one. I'm like, the math ain't math because it's not going to work on everybody. At least it's not going to work on everyone the same.
Mm-hmm.
As far as my favorite storyline, I think I will go with the original. The original storyline, it was straight to the point. I like stuff that's straight to the point. You ain't got to take me all around. The 78, it took you all around. It was 800 people in this dang movie. And wasn't it the longest one too?
I think it
might have been the longest. I'm
think
not sure.
Was.
As far as storyline, yeah, I kind of like that one the best. It had a small town,
Yeah.
I felt that gave it more of a creepy vibe. I don't know. It felt creepier than the other two because it is still a horror movie.
It was more eerie.
Yeah,
I agree. It was a little more eerie than the other two. The first one, even though it was a small town,
Yeah.
it didn't really give an eerie vibe, and I don't know whether or not because it was 1950 small
It
town.
didn't give an eerie vibe?
I would not, well, compared to 78, no, it did not.
I thought
I
it
didn't think
did. I don't know if it's because of the black and whiteness, which is like an unfair comparison, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like if it's, but they had color in 56, but I guess they just didn't want to use it.
I think it probably reads better. in black
I
and
liked
white.
it. I actually loved it in black and white.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
I loved
it.
it.
Well done.
I'm here for the originals, man. I'm
It was
here.
well
I'm like, if
done.
it ain't broke, don't touch it. Like, I think, yeah, they kind of, it was very typical, you know, I'm the man, I'm the doctor. Let's
Save the world.
And then the woman was just following behind. But I'm gonna get to her in a second because she was flawless. Like, I was like, I'm calling it in my brain Invasion of the Waist Snatchers because her waist, her outfits, this entire movie, I was like, the world is ending and you are just not a hair out of place. I was like, this is so the 50s. Like,
yeah.
It was giving just body and hair and cheekbones. I was like, okay. But I think you lost something in the 2007 one. It felt kind of cold, kind of sterile, but that is what they hired Nicole Kidman for. So for best storyline, you're sticking with 2007.
We're from Maryland, so I don't know if
We're
being
from
a bit
Baltimore.
biased.
We're not from Maryland. We're from Baltimore. I don't know why she keeps saying that. That is not the same.
Okay, we're from Baltimore, and it was filmed in downtown Baltimore. If any of you,
And DC though.
and DC as well. So I did kind of like the fact that it wasn't isolated in just one little tiny, you know.
So as far as storyline, yeah, I'm gonna give it to the original.
Yeah.
The 78 is a close second. So as far as favorite cast or best cast, who are you going with?
1978 is my number one. 2007 is extremely close second, but I think 78 you had Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, who was President Snow. I literally did. I don't know why.
For the millennials, President Snow.
People didn't exist in other things before I saw them in it. Like, I was like, no, he is President Snow. I was like, no, he played in other things, boo.
Many other things.
I was like, what do you mean? Oh my god, he was skinny. He was young. Oh my god, rest his soul.
Yes. Jeff Goldblum.
He was hot. I was like, okay, Uncle Jeff, look at you. Also skinny. I was like, what happened?
Oh, well, it was the 70s.
Everyone was so thin and tall in the 70s.
You had Leonard Nimoy, Dr. Spock from the original Star Trek.
Yeah,
How can you get any better than that in a sci-fi?
It was given very sci-fi,
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The 2007, I absolutely love and adore Nicole Kidman. She always delivers. Daniel Craig, which was our James Bond for multiple 007 movies. And Jeffrey Wright, I mean, can I even say any more about Jeffrey Wright?
Jeffrey Wright is in everything. And he's always, y'all ever notice he always plays somebody smart? He's always a freaking scientist or a doctor.
But he carries
or a
it.
writer.
Yeah.
Like, that must be in his contract.
He's an amazing actor. He is amazing. Hopefully
he's real dope.
Get more accolades, you know, more and more as he, you know.
My favorite cast, 78. Even though it was too many freaking people, I liked it. I loved it. I'm not too not fond. I'm not too familiar with Brooke Adams, who played Elizabeth Driscoll. I did appreciate that they so the first one, the 56, the man was the doctor and, you know, he figured everything out. In this one, she started it, her boyfriend got infected, and that's when she was like, something ain't right. Like, I know my man and he not acting like my man. And that's when she went to Donald Sutherland and everybody else came in. It became a whole like Scooby-Doo kind of thing with a whole group of people. But yeah, I don't recall seeing her in anything else.
I have, only because I'm much older and I grew up watching Brooke Adams, you know, and multiple movies.
Okay.
So yeah, she wasn't a one-hit wonder or one time. She acted pretty well in the 70s and 80s.
Okay. Yeah, I really like this cast. To me, I laughed a lot. I think I laughed at stuff that wasn't even supposed to be funny. Well, Jeff definitely was. He was the comedic relief.
I mean, can you just say Jurassic Park?
He
all
was still
over
giving
again?
Jurassic Park. He's always the one that's like, yeah, but what if we think about this? And like, I guess he's kind of typecast as that person.
But he was brilliant at it. He's
Yeah.
brilliant at going against the grain.
Yeah, he's always the rebel.
Yes,
pretty much.
so that's what we love him for.
Because the spa scene with him and his wife, you know, when the
Oh.
people were, you know, taking mud baths and whatnot, and like, ugh, nowhere in cast. But as far as special effects go, I'm gonna give it to 78 as well, because like, I guess that goes hand in hand because they had like the makeup and stuff, and I don't know what it was, like a crust. It was like like web.
Yeah,
a crusty web
Do you
thing.
Do you think that it read better because it was in the color? Because 1956 wasn't too shabby.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
They
too
held
shabby
their
at
own
all.
with their
the sound
effects, the
visual.
I gave it best pod.
Yeah.
Okay, if you've never seen any of these movies, they're aliens. They come down in 56. They came from space. In 78, they came from. I think their planet was destroyed or dying or something, so they came to Earth and then they turned into these pretty flowers. And in 2007 they came from a space shuttle thingy majig.
Yeah.
And as far as the pods go, the pod people, yeah, I guess this is cast too, because in 56 when the pod people, once you become turned after you sleep or whatever, the new person, you know, emerges, well, the alien you emerges without any emotions, and which is kind of defeating their storyline a little bit, because in 56 the pod people were still acting normal. You couldn't even tell.
Yeah, they didn't have as much.
They weren't zombie like in 2007. They were clearly like, oh, that's a pod person. Like,
yeah, in 78 too, because they could detect if you.
They could detect it.
Could show
they were
emotions
very
as
cold,
well.
which it does mess up 56's storyline. Because if they're doing this to create like a more emotion-free, less violent, you know, society by taking away emotions, but once they turn, you can't even tell. Like the lady could only tell because she walked in and saw her husband like transforming into this pod person. But if she didn't see that, like, because
how could you tell?
Yeah.
I do agree on that.
The complaint's not making sense.
Yeah, they're supposed to be a more calmer species, but
when you saw them, they were still talking and acting like themselves.
Yeah,
so it really didn't make sense.
The emotionless did not read very well with 56, but nevertheless, it's still
a good movie.
Yeah,
they just had some things that I was pointing out, like the math not mathing. Yeah, but no, I'm gonna give it the 78 for the cast because I feel like they had a perfect blend of.
Yeah, I agree. They're
human. They're pod people. Everybody was on their ish, and I think they have the most. I won't say stars. Like they have, you know, heavy hitters.
Yeah, at that time they definitely had the most heavy hitters. Not even at that time. Even now,
like looking at
before. Well, some of them succumbed.
Who was in the 80 version?
The only person that I remember was Jennifer Tilly. She and her sister Meg Tilly. They were.
She had a sister.
Meg Tilly. Jennifer Tilly. The younger ones may remember her, not so young, as the Bride of Chucky. Mm-hmm. That's who she is or was in that movie.
Why didn't we put Chucky? We gotta do Chucky for Halloween. I missed that because we're trying to do like all of October. They'll all be like horror movies and stuff.
So we will consider.
Why didn't we do Chucky? We will consider. We're doing Chucky. It's happening. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I think, and I don't remember the exact year, but it was in the 80s, and it never comes on.
I've never seen it. If I can find any footage, I'll put it right here as usual. But.
Yeah, it's very hard to find, but it. From what I remember, it was watchworthy because it took place, I think, on a naval base. I think I could be wrong, and I think there were teenagers in it too.
You think it went straight to TV, and that's why it wasn't like in the movie theater?
I don't remember seeing the movie theater. I think I saw it on TV, but I think it was in the movie theater, if I'm not mistaken. It's just hard to find.
But shout out to y'all. So yeah, best pod people, best cast for me, 78, and you're picking
78. Yeah.
So you think they were all kind of?
I want to say, because 1950 again, that pod, that wasn't too shabby. It really wasn't.
They were some good pods for 56.
But the pod in the 78, and I think it was in the 2000, I can't remember, but definitely in the 78 when the dog.
Oh, that was weird. Yeah. That was weird.
That was probably the scariest part the first time I saw that movie, because it took me
it took you by surprise.
And I think that was the best special effect.
It wasn't the best special effect, but it was definitely like, why did we need this?
It was a surprising moment.
I was like, why did we... It was eerie. Yeah, that was freaky.
Yeah.
That was freaky. Ugh. But then that made me bring up another thing that I was like, the math not mathing, because if the pod takes on the body of the person that I guess is closest to it, and there are more than one person next to the pod, is it just going to be a blend? You
like
know
a hybrid.
I mean? It's going to be a hybrid.
And that's what I was thinking. It was a hybrid.
Because they were sleeping next to each other. There was a homeless man and his dog that fell asleep next to each other. So I guess the pod was like,
because if they were...
put
skin to skin, I guess. Then
I was like, that's so weird, because you see in other, like in people's houses, if it's like 4 of y'all living there, I guess you have to have a pod for everybody. Well, what if they ain't got enough pods?
Oh, they have enough pods.
Well, I mean,
they'll get enough pods, because you have people working in factories, producing.
It looked like a weed farm. Can I say that on YouTube? It looks like a marijuana farm.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
A suspect farm, yeah.
But that part was, it had me like, I was like, they didn't even have green screens, and they didn't need none of that. They was like, look, we're gonna get some Dawn dish soap. And we gonna time this thing right.
And the sound effect.
And then when they come out, they go.
It was pretty.
I was like, this is movie magic.
If I saw it on a big screen, I probably would have.
Yeah, because it was eerie, but I was like, I like this.
Yeah.
Look at that imaginative. Mm-hmm. Our ancestors was doing the damn thing. Well, not mine specifically, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. But you had innovation.
They were very innovative.
Even in the 20s and 30s, you definitely had innovation, and I'll give it more to those eras, because, as you state, we didn't have special special equipment or anything like that you could,
not to today's standards.
Yeah, so
because I guess you always had to be like near like a garden or something for the pot to grow. So it was like the person happened to have a greenhouse in their backyard. I'm like, really, y'all? Well, so they'll find their pod growing there, and then it'll start foaming, and you'll see the person kind of coming out. It looks like a blank canvas of a person before it has all the features, and then it'll show like the like it showed a lot more than I thought it would for the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what would this have been rated? I don't know. I have the computer, but
wow, that's a good question. But the rating system, I think, was different back then. But it probably would not have been suitable for children. They probably would have deemed it not suitable for children, maybe under a particular age.
That would be the only part that I would be like, maybe covering PG. My kids' eyes.
Yeah, maybe PG, maybe.
PG-13, maybe.
They didn't have that back
they didn't have that back then?
No.
Oh, maybe it was rated R then. I don't know.
I don't know.
Drinking, smoking, kissing.
Oh, well, that was... that was the norm in
people popping out of pods. Yeah, they had my favorite pods. Hands down. The Snatchers of 78. Yeah, you just got really crusty. Because I was like, well, if you have the pod that's growing off of the real person, and that real person falls asleep, and then the pod person goes on, I guess, not pretends, but becomes like the alien version of you.
Right.
I guess, do they just get rid of the other person?
I think it disintegrated. Didn't it disintegrate?
They disintegrated in 78.
Yeah,
once the transformation is complete.
But 56, it didn't show what.
Because I don't, and that was the thing that I was kind of like loopholey, where I was like, well, then it's two of y'all walking around here. But I guess not. Because the other one could only really walk around if you fell asleep, and then that was it.
Exactly.
But I would just keep killing my pod. Like, I would just make sure to always look up under my house and in the garden, or like, I don't know, because
It's a lot of work.
It has to be near you, so it can't be across town.
Right, it has to be close to you.
So it's like, and they big as hell. Them things was chunky. They weren't like small little sesame seeds.
So you couldn't miss it.
I would be like, it's no way that everyone in the whole town fell asleep. Like, nobody noticed these pods and killed them. Like, nobody. I was like, this pissed me off. Like, nobody thought to kill them. Like,
I think, again, the government or whatever was co-conspirator. Well, they probably took over the government first, or the law enforcement.
Well, this was, yeah, in the other ones, but in this one, it kind of happened, but it was just a small town. So I'm like, but that's my whole Walking Dead theory too. It's like everybody got bit the same day.
Well, you go to bed at night,
like
around the same time.
There's no normal people left, and they move slow as hell. Like it's just, it was just pissing me off because I'm like, if this is our whole block,
yeah,
you're gonna see people running out and talking about it, and it's like every time you saw them go home or something, they would be like the only people in a frenzy. And I'm like, so no one else is going through this too? Like, even if you don't know what's actually going on, you see this pod thing growing because it has to be like in a garden. I think even though one guy had one growing in his cellar, which because he had that lady, remember it was one of his daughter, I think, that was in the cellar. And I was like, wait, the math not mathing because.
But it was in the a crate or something, and I think
it was in a crate, like in a cellar.
So I guess as long as it's in some sort of habitat type of.
But the rest of them were being grown, like in a field. So I'm like, it's not making sense, y'all. But I mean, it is 56.
Yeah.
I would just keep killing my pod and being pissed at whoever keep laying them down, and then you can see who's laying them down, and then you kill them because now you know that they a pod person. But anyway,
that would have been.
78. I think you just fall asleep and you get crusty.
Yeah.
And webby and weird. They had really good special effects too. It looked like they used glue. I think you said it looks like a whole bunch of glue. Like Elmer's glue.
When it dries and you.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, that was creepy too, because you'll see them like breathing underneath. I was like, ah.
Yeah.
That spy scene. I was like, ooh.
Now, 2007 was a different way.
2007 was completely different.
To become infected.
They would spit or like they pretty much threw up on you or in your food or in your drinks. And I'm like, how ain't nobody seeing that? Like, they had the one girl throw up in her coffee. And I'm like, she ain't see them chunks.
Nope.
And you ain't hear anything because they loud as hell.
I guess it's supposed to dissolve like sugar. I don't know.
I know, right? Like, I'm like, you ain't hear her just... Okay, whatever. I was like, I'm through with y'all.
Not supposed to. Then the jig would be up if you did.
And it would be all over the place. Like, if you have to do this to everybody, it would just be throw up all over the place. It wouldn't be that clean in none of those buildings with none of the streets.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know about that.
And I think that they probably had to do it a different way after the fourth. Because that's technically the fourth one. Yeah. That I know of.
Yeah. Because the pod theory just wasn't working. It's too many plot holes with the pod. So it was like, it has to be something that. But yeah, like we were saying, her son had like, if you have anything that's like a brain like affecting illness, it wouldn't affect you. So you would be immune. But then they would still try to. Sorry about that, y'all. My phone kept cutting off. But anyway, like we were saying, yeah, I think they had made a vaccine in 2007. So yeah, they ended up fixing that whole thing. But in 78, she was. I don't know how she even survived that long. It did say how long. I think it was like a few months or a year later.
Yeah, it was a long time.
It was a lot, and I was like, "Dang, girl, I wouldn't even want to live in a world like that. Like surviving like that.
Survival.
It's like, what's the point though? You can't ever accidentally like show any emotions. Like, I would feel crazy. I'm way too emotional.
And I don't know if they were on. They weren't on like a cure. They weren't on to finding a cure.
In 78, it just happened and it happened.
Yeah, so to try to live like that without no hope of a cure or.
And it's like, no matter where you go, if that's the whole world. I mean, you could probably try to find like in the zombie movies and stuff, there's always like a community.
Yeah.
You have to be slick about it though.
Yeah, in your travels, you have to be very crafty and cunning in your travels because they'll be watching you at every checkpoint or on the plane, what have you.
Because I think that happened at 56. They were trying to get on the plane, and the guy kept asking all these questions about the airport, and they like, why do you want to know all these questions? Like, I was like, some taxi drivers are just talkative, but Like he was trying to fill them out.
Oh yeah.
He ended up getting out. I'm gonna go with 56 for best special effects, which is crazy because that's the oldest one.
But don't sleep on 1950 on down, because those movies, they had brilliant people working behind the scenes. Yeah. Very fresh, again, innovative, creative. So that's what gets me. I mean, if you can carry it off like that in the 50s, and before then, that's what gets it for me.
Yeah, because 07 is like, they didn't need green screens or anything because people just threw up everywhere. But I was like, that's kind of lazy. Like, you had such imaginative, you know, and then you just go to, we'll just throw up on everything.
Well, I think they were trying to do a little bit different.
Oh, yeah.
It's still there, though.
And I know this isn't technically like a category that applies, but like as far as sound goes, I do love the little pod noises from the little pop noise. But let me tell you, 78, if you watch it, please turn your TV down, because I don't know if like IMAX just came out. I don't know if they just got surround sound in 78, but baby, it was very audio heavy. It would be like a clock ticking or a heart beating or a swinging, and it would go on for way too long. It's like, we get the freaking point, y'all. We get, like, it was just so loud. It pissed me off. Like, I guess it was supposed to add to the suspense, but it just ended up pissing me off and making me deaf. I don't like that. That's the only thing I don't like about 78.
The audio was too loud.
It was just, stuff in the background was too loud. I'm always here for 70s, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was really into the storyline. But 56, baby, Miss Dana Winter. I don't know if she's still with us, but she played Becky Driscoll, the girlfriend of the doctor, Kevin McCarthy. We didn't even say their name, the cast, but she was snatched in every sense of the word. Like, she literally became snatched at the end. Not to give it away, but she was beautiful, gorgeous all the way up to the end.
Yeah, she's beautiful lady.
I didn't even look up who did the
fashion.
I didn't know who did the fashion. I didn't look it up. It was typical 1950s, you know.
And I also just want to give like a shout out to Miss Carolyn Jones, who I fondly remember her as from the Addams Family as Morticia Addams. Who didn't love Morticia Addams? She was just so posh, and when she spoke French, and the slinky dress and the way she walked. Oh my god!
I'm here for a good slink. I always say we don't slink enough in today's society. Nobody's slinking anymore.
So we definitely have to give it up to Miss Carolyn Jones. Yes,
I'm here for the golf.
I think we were watching it. We did see who did
it. Only says makeup department and hairdresser. They didn't even.
Did they wear their own fashion?
How dare they? And this is what I hate about certain old movies. A lot of them will skip over who did the costumes, and it pisses me off. Like, we're important people too. Like, don't just skip over the stylists and the designers.
It may have been a phase, a period when the fashion wasn't, unless the movie was based on fashion, wasn't as important.
If she was the main character, and she kind of was, they ran as a pair. It was them, that couple, and then the Belichicks. King Donovan was Jack Belichick. He was also a doctor, and Carolyn Jones, who you said was Morticia, played Theodora Teddy Belichick, and that was his wife. And I'm just like, well, damn. I'm sure somebody dressed them. Well, anyway, whoever dressed them,
we'll find out. Yes.
Yeah.
You guys can find out. Yeah.
But I was like, if I ever do like cosplay, 1950s cosplay, oh my gosh. I mean, I don't have her waist, but she was freaking gorgeous, y'all.
She was. She's a beautiful lady.
The men dressed like how they always in suits. It was gray.
Yeah.
But, yeah. 70s, I can't even tell you one outfit that I remembered. I really don't.
The 70s, it was the average quintessential 70s. Which I love the 70s. Like,
I love the 70s.
You can't go wrong with the 70s. You really can't.
It just wasn't a moment, you know?
Yeah.
And that's okay. It wasn't about that.
It wasn't about that. Yeah.
Or 2007, it wasn't.
No, 2007 was about fashion.
2007, it looks so gray. But is that part of the, like, it just seems so black, white, and gray. It was very sterile.
Maybe that's the idea. I think sometimes it may purposely be filmed a certain way to add on to the eeriness of it.
Yeah, the
I mean, if it was in Technicolor, it probably would take away from, you know, the eeriness of it, you know, with bright colors and things like that. So,
if another remake was made, do you think it should be made, and what would you change about it?
If a remake was made, the only remake that I could think of would be 2007, because even though they found a cure for it, did they really find a cure for the entire world?
Oh yeah, it says worldwide.
But I'm wondering, would it be any loopholes? Like maybe they didn't get it all.
Oh, you mean, would that be more of a sequel?
Yeah, it would be more
Not
of a sequel,
remake.
but not an actual remake. I don't think
You think they
remakes
should do a
be made.
sequel instead?
Yeah, but I really don't know, other than did they get it all and is it going to come back? Yeah, I think 4 is enough for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm good too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would just say the same things I say about probably every remake so far. It's like, y'all could switch up the diversity. Besides Jeffrey Wright, I didn't. There was some people of color in the 78 one, but they were like background people. Would it really change anything though? Not really.
Not really. The plot,
it wouldn't add to anything. It would be funny to see how black people would react to that though. But it would be more of a comedy.
That would be a spoof.
It would be a short movie and it would be a comedy.
It would be a spoof.
Because we killing our pods hands down. We ain't drinking nothing that nobody give us. Why you throwing up all over the damn place? Okay, that's not cute. I don't know. Like, maybe it could be one that only affects all the men. And it leaves the women alone. And it makes them less emotional, and it makes them not cheat. It makes them loyal.
Well, if it was all the men,
it just affects the men.
But then that would be a reverse of you know what movie.
Oh, we should do that too. We should do that after Chucky, because that's a horror movie, and it has Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Put it down in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. We should do that. We should do that.
Yeah.
Because we've already just watched both of them. It'll be an easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys know what we're talking about,
put that down in the comments. We should do that. That would be a reverse version of that.
Yes, it would be.
That would be awesome though. That would make the world a better place. But then it wouldn't be a horror movie. It would be for the men.
For them it would be.
I would be like, this is the best movie. This is amazing. Bravo. Just everybody, all the women in the movie theater.
Like box office smash.
Right, a box office smash.
50 years.
You and your girlfriends get dressed up. We going to go see Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Oh my God. Like, that's the only thing I would change. Like, make it better. Because technically, if you're taking away people's emotions because you want less violence and cruelty, that is cruelty in itself, to force yourself upon anyone else.
And that's what it was.
It's like you're not doing what you think you're doing, sir.
The very thing that they wanted to take over, they used those same tactics to take over you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because I feel like
it wasn't peaceful.
I think if you take away men's emotions and
any screenwriters out there?
I mean, it would be cheap. The fashion would be amazing.
Oh yes,
I think
it would be like
we should get Pat Cleveland to do the outfit.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my, it'd be like a Sex in the City meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I would love it, but other than that, I don't think they should.
No,
it's done.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
It's done.
I mean, it was in 50s. Almost 60s, then you had the 70s, almost 80s, and then you had the 80s. I don't want to say almost 90 because I don't remember what year in the 80s, but you kind of covered. Because
it would have to, in order for it to progress, the aliens or the fungus or whatever it is would have to seek out the most inhumane, the most cruel part of the human experience, and so far it has been men. They have always, for a long time, been in power. wars and all of this stuff. So they wouldn't target us. They would target the men. That's the only way that you could actually progress in the storyline.
I see.
So, in my opinion,
The plot. And the plot
they would go
thickens.
to, oh, it's the men that are doing this, and that. They're on the boards of all of this. They're the CEOs. They're politics. Okay, well, we'll take over the men. Like, to me, that would make sense. But
just the bad ones.
Just know all of them.
Oh.
You can't just leave.
I tried, man.
Well,
I tried.
But no, that would be a good one too if it could seek out. You know, it'd be the people. It's like, oh, I thought Jim was a good guy, and it's like, girl, no, he be having bodies under the floorboards. You ain't know. Like, that could be a twist. But
yeah.
If you had to go back and watch one, or only probably watch one for the rest of your life, which one would it be? Is it an easy rewatch? Is it hard?
I don't know why I'm gravitating to 78. Maybe because of the cast. Yeah.
I'm torn between 56 and 78. I will watch them both equally as much. I'll be more inclined to watch the 56 only because 78 is too damn loud, and that messes with my senses. I don't know, anybody else is like sensitive to different like sensory things, but but I love the cast. It's funny in certain parts, and you don't really get comedy in the other two movies at all. No, it's very just straight through suspense, no comedy, sadness. I'll probably watch the 56 one more. Is there any other things you want to add or point out for the people? Like, let's say you've never seen it.
Oh God! If you've never seen it, if you're up for the challenge, watch all three.
Yeah. How did we find? I think the other two. I think 56 and 78 you can find for free. I think the 2007 one we had to pay for, but I don't remember where I found it. But it probably still comes on TV. You can probably find it.
Well. You know,
especially it's almost Halloween.
October. Yeah, October's upon us, so
yeah. If you like sci-fi, this is for you. I'm a big sci-fi nerd. Not too much on the horror. It's not like bloody or anything like that. It's just weird, gross, slimy, scaly. It's crusty.
It's okay, but it's definitely a sci-fi.
It's more sci-fi than
if you're a sci-fi buff, I think you won't be disappointed.
So yeah, that is our review the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Thank y'all for rocking with us, and we'll see you guys next time. If you care, please share, give us a like. You can follow me on Instagram at Tuesday Marie Lotus. She has Instagram that she don't use called Mixed Media Apparel.
I'm working on it, you guys. You know,
if you want to keep in touch with us outside of YouTube, maybe we'll make a separate Instagram and just post like little tidbits and stuff, because sometimes we might want to do one that's not like a full video. It might be like a TV movie or something. And please subscribe if you care, and we will see you guys very shortly next week.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye.
Bye.